Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld and it's trailer season again, which means we're starting to get a good look at the games coming out in 2018. And even though E3 is still a few weeks away, we've already got a pretty good lineup of promising new FPS games that we can expect to see this year. There's some old franchises making a return as well as a bunch of brand new IPs, but the question is, which one is gonna come out on top? Well, that's what we're going to take a look at today. So without further ado, here's my list of the top 5 upcoming FPS games of 2018. So to kick off, coming in at number 5 is Void Interactive's new police SWAT team themed tactical shooter, Ready or Not. And in a nutshell, if it doesn't already, it should seem very familiar because in a lot of ways it looks a lot like games like Rainbow Six Siege. Except that, where Siege let players like me down who are expecting a more true, realistic and gritty tactical shooter, Ready or Not actually promises to deliver. With many of the same features found in Siege as well as many more, but with a much deeper level of complexity, it really is set to shake things up and it may even knock Siege down a few pegs. Now, speaking of shooters that should seem familiar, well, coming in next on the list at number 4 is the new World War II sandbox shooter Postscriptum. And when I say familiar, well, if you're a fan of Project Reality or more recently Squad, you'll definitely understand instantly where this game is coming from, and you should understand what it's all about. Just like Squad, this game features 50 versus 50 PvP style matches with a huge focus on tactical gameplay, authenticity and a very steep learning curve. And not just that, it features plenty of historically accurate content to keep you interested, including more than 50 vehicles, 40 plus weapons and the ability to build bases. And coming in next on the list at number 3 is the full-fledged sequel to one of my favourite games of the past few years, Insurgency Sandstorm. A game that I've literally been waiting for years and something I've personally been calling potentially a Battlefield killer since it was first announced. Because where Battlefield is getting more casual as the years go by, Insurgency is a super hardcore, super gritty, realistic game which rewards skill above all else. And yet it's still got many of the same features and modes as Battlefield does, and most importantly, probably at this moment in time, it's got a modern setting. Now, speaking of Battlefield killers, well, coming in next on the list at number 2 is a game which only just had its trailer released today, the Farm 51's World War III. And honestly, if you're a fan of games like BF4 and you haven't already seen this game, well, you really need to check it out because it's right up your alley. In fact, it's almost as if the devs of this game saw that there was a gap in the market when DICE went off and did BF1 and moved in on it. So in other words, in this game, expect large-scale maps, combined arms operations, and a huge focus on authentic customization, including a ton of weapon attachments. Now, just before we get on to the number 1 slot, I should give an honourable mention to Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which no doubt will be a popular game this year. But once again, like most COD games in recent years, this year's entry seems to be yet another case of rinse and repeat, meaning it was never going to make the top 5. Also, another promising game I want to give a mention to is Overkills The Walking Dead, which I guess seems like it's going to be like Dead Island, which in itself is a really great concept, but unfortunately isn't enough to gain it a top spot because we haven't seen any gameplay yet and we really don't know what the game's all about. But finally, with all of that out of the way, that brings us to the top spot, which not surprisingly goes to Battlefield 5, which I don't think needs any introduction on this channel. And I've got to say, it was a close call this time because I don't think Battlefield's ever really had this much direct competition in the marketplace. But with that being said, I think the reason I'm so confident in putting BF5 out on top is because from what we saw in the reveal and the trailer, BF5 really aims to make up for everything we didn't like about BF1. And in a nutshell, I really did think BF1 was a great game except for its flaws, and I think with a World War II theme, this year's entry really has a lot more potential to be truly amazing. So anyway guys, that just about wraps up this top 5, but before you go, make sure you let me know what your list is in the comment section down below. Do you think I hit the mark with this list? Do you think I missed anything, or would you just change around the order a bit? As always though, please feel free to leave your suggestions in the comments, and please subscribe if you want to keep up to date with my new videos. And also don't forget, you can keep in touch with me on Twitter and Discord using the links down below. And of course, until next time, see you later and have a good one.